Hi, I'm Mark coming at you from Nacogdoches, Texas. And the building behind me is a pretty significant building in the history of American theater. See, that building was built in 1889 and it was originally an opera house. It was designed to try to attract some of the vaudeville people that were traveling between Dallas and Shreveport. Although now it's an art gallery, round about 1907 there was a quartet called the Four Nightingales that played at this opera house. The Four Nightingales consisted of three brothers, Milton, Adolph, and Julius, and their friend Lon Levy. Lon Levy may be lost to history, but the three brothers, Milton, Adolph, and Julius, later changed their names to Gummo, Harpo, and Groucho, the Marx Brothers. But what's so important about this building? How did this building play a role in the history of the Marx Brothers? Back in 1907, this floor right there, the second floor, was originally kind of a lounge area where showgoers could go and congregate during the breaks and intermissions. Remember, there wasn't any air conditioning back then, so that was open to the street below and open to the air. The Four Nightingales were singing in four-part harmony. They were playing their violin, mandolins, and other instruments. Just then, wouldn't you know it, something exciting happened. Someone ran into the theater and proclaimed, "Mule on the loose." Now, I don't know if it was one mule or several, but apparently the people in the theater were far more interested in seeing a mule on the loose than they were in watching the Four Nightingales. So what happened next? Everybody ran out into the street, they ran up to that second window, and they all looked down to see the mule on the loose. Well, of course, this frustrated the brothers. They wanted people to come and listen to their music and watch them perform. When people eventually made their way back into the theater, Julius, Groucho, was furious, and he started throwing insults at the crowd. Since people wanted so badly to see the mule, one of the things he said is, "The jackass is the most beautiful flower in Texas." Yeah, it wasn't a great line, but probably the most famous line from that day, "Nacogdoches is full of roaches." That's right. The brothers were sure that they were going to be tarred and feathered, run out of town on a rail. You just don't insult Texans on their home turf. So what did the Texans do? They laughed. They thought it was hilarious. They thought it was part of the act. And it's said at that moment, the Marx Brothers decided, you know, maybe we shouldn't be a musical act. Maybe we should be a comedy act. Another interesting thing happened during that trip to Nacogdoches. During one of the breaks on a Sunday, Groucho was outside playing euchre with a few other people. I don't know if they're showbiz people, but he got caught by the police. Apparently, it was illegal to play cards on Sunday in Nacogdoches. Later on, Groucho remarked, "The way I played, they shouldn't have allowed it on Saturday either." There are some great stories of the Marx Brothers from those days. Minnie Marx was his mother, and even though the boys were about 20 years old, as you know from watching their movies, they weren't very large men. They were pretty small, and she would claim that they were 13 years old so they could get reduced rates on the train fare. Well, one time one of the train conductors came up to her and said, "Ma'am, one of your sons is smoking a cigar in the club car, and another is in the washroom shaving." And Minnie just shook her head and said, "Oh, they grow up so fast." And you wonder where they got their sense of humor. And it all started in this building. This is where the Marx Brothers began their career in comedy. I didn't even notice this. The story I just told you is on the side of this building. And this is a building where Groucho was arrested for playing cards. Right across the street from the Opera House, that was the hotel where the brothers stayed. Groucho used to tell the story of Nacogdoches pretty often. In fact, on his TV show, he often used to reference it. It was a funny word, and he was a funny guy. But there's something else about Nacogdoches and the Marx Brothers. You see, in their movie Duck Soup, Groucho was a leader of a country called Fredonia. It was a really funny movie, and there were some great songs in it by Bert Kalmar and Harry Ruby. In fact, in one song, the chorus shouts out, "Hail, hail, Fredonia." Hail, hail, Fredonia. Kalmar and Ruby wrote some great songs, wonderful songs, songs that you would recognize. But some of my favorites were the amusing songs that they wrote for the Marx Brothers. And Groucho was a great one to sing these songs. They had ridiculous lyrics and they were usually done at a very fast pace. In fact, the Fredonia song that I was just telling you about had some great lyrics. Lyrics like,
"The last man nearly ruined this place. He didn't know what to do with it. If you think this country's bad off now, just wait till I get through with it."
Yep, those were the lyrics. But what does all of this have to do with this place, Nacogdoches? Well, back in 1820, Nacogdoches and the area around it rebelled from Mexico. And they started the Republic of, you guessed it, Fredonia. Coincidence? I don't think so. So where is Fredonia Street? Well, it's only one block from the Opera House, where Groucho insulted all the residents of Nacogdoches. Again, coincidence? But you know, this is kind of an interesting little city. If I had more time, I'd look around. Let's see some of the things I see in the immediate area. So we have some historical statues. Antonia Galibarbo. And apparently he was the lieutenant governor. And there it is, the Fredonia Rebellion. Oops, I had the date wrong. It's 1826. Oh well, everybody's entitled to a mistake, and that was mine. And look at this family. They look like they're on quite a pilgrimage. You know, I came to Nacogdoches because I like the Marx Brothers. But after spending some time here, I kind of like Nacogdoches too. And you know, since I've been here, I haven't seen a single roach. As always, I love it when you comment, when you like my videos, when you share them, and especially when you subscribe. I'm Mark with the Average Me Channel.